let's get into 3 massive mistakes that no matter if you've been playing this golf game, well, I say golf game, it's this torture, you've been going through this torture of golf for years, or you're brand new to it, we're going to get you fixed. Okay, so let's jump into the bunker. Let's talk about point number 1. And we're going to build this up from setup. Okay, point number 1 is where we go wrong with setup. So, as a standard thing, I would always try and use my most lofted club. This is going to help me get the ball out the sand a lot easier because tend to be quite a way below the putting surface. Also, what we find is potentially a lot of us, depending what golf courses we play, we have some degrees of bounce now on our club. So I actually have 8 degrees of bounce on my wedge, whereas some people might have a little bit less, some people might have a bit more. I tend to see better bunker players have more bounce because this allows the club to glide through the sand a little bit better rather than digging into the sand. These factors are super important. So, mistake number 1 is not having the correct club and not having the correct setup. Let's spin around face on perspective here, you're going to want to see this. Wow, it's seriously hot in this bunker. Sunny Manchester by the beach, apparently. Okay, so who looks like this? Do you? Get in those comments, everybody. Do you look like this when we're trying to hit a bunker shot? We sort of stand to it very much like we're hitting a normal shot. Wrong, we can't do this. Because all this is going to encourage here, watch this. This club is going to dig, I'm going to put so much speed into it, I'm either going to fluff it in front of me, or we're going to have that dreaded shot that carries too far over the back of the green. So, our setup. I'm going to run through this now. Easy. This is what I want you to follow on the golf course. Make it easy. Lay the club down, and you can see a close-up here. My face is relatively open. Close-up on my hands now. I'm now taking a hold of this golf club. Look at this. The club relative to me is a little bit open, but my grip relative to me is nice and neutral. This is going to really help encourage a release better, but first and foremost, set your club up to glide through the sand. Let's now take a nice wide stance and place that ball position, a club head inside our left heel. Now, final part of our setup, we're going to sit down, we're going to sit left. So first mistake is correcting that setup. Let's hit this one away. I'm trusting myself here. Let's go down the line and see this. Here we go. There we go, full trust. Oh, popped up a little bit on me. Out every time. That's got to be our first goal. Can we get this ball out every single time? Because I think that's costing so many of us out on the golf course. Okay, mistake number 2. Number 2, release. I mentioned it before. If your setup's not perfect, and well, not perfect, but if your setup doesn't condone good movement, like throughout the whole game, it's going to be very hard to execute good shots. So, taking our grip, and I want you to see a close-up of how my hands are on this golf club from the face-on perspective. I want you now just to grip this golf club in your left hand only. Left hand only on this golf club. Place your lead hand, a trail hand, just behind you. Now if we take our setup and stand still, think how we would splash as much sand through this as possible. Splash as much sand out as possible. Well, look what position my golf club finishes in. The loft is pointing back at me. It's not much sand to splash this way because I couldn't generate as much speed. My speed will be generated this way. So really feeling as though our wrist and release is working underneath. Now the way I feel this is gripping the golf club as we had it, my logo of my glove stays pointing to me throughout, or a nice focusing point to finish, the loft of the golf club pointing straight back at you. So look at this over my shoulder now. You can see this close-up of the loft pointing straight back at me. So watch this. I'm going to swing back, come and look over my shoulder now. If you come and look from here, look how that loft is pointing back at me, whereas if you stayed there and I drilled it like a normal shot, look where that loft is. That's a valuable point, that. A super, super valuable point. So let's hit this one away, and then let's get into our final point, which is a massive pitfall, which I've just done really on the first shot here today. So the important factor of being able to release the club like this really allows us to actually put some speed in the correct way. Speed underneath, not speed driving through. Speed driving through is that big mistake which gets the club digging and those thin shots over the green. Here we go. So feeling that release, feeling that setup, boof. Still not got it there. Still not got it there. Before we move on to the final point, be truthfully honest with yourself here. How many times does it take you to get out the bunker? How many shots is it costing you around? I want to fix that for you. I want you to get out every time. This final point, super important. Let's go and get these balls. Also, if you're wanting a little bit more of a step-by-step guide on this, don't forget we have PDFs that you can download to support this video. All you've got to do is simply join the Facebook group, Simple Golf Tips. The link is down below. And I'll personally let you into the group. You can see the PDFs of this video, but the rest of them as well. And I really appreciate it if you could hit that big thumbs up button on this vid as well. I have now changed to my 50 degree. Long bunker shots are the killer. In fact, how many people think they are the hardest shot in golf? I know I'm certainly one of those people that thinks it's one of up there with one of the hardest shots in golf, but no longer. I want you to adopt the exact same technique we just spoke about, but using a lower lofted club. So I said to you, for most standard bunker shots, we would use our 58 degree or 60 degree or 64 if we carry that as well. What I want you to think about here is, as we get a little bit further away from the green, if from the fairway, we'd use less loft. As we get a little bit further away from the green in the bunker, I want you to use less loft. Think about it logically, we would just do it in the fairway, so we have to do it in the bunker as well. Same setup, same technique. This is going to help you get this ball to travel out the bunker better and longer without having to really feel as though I'm pounding this ball and leaving ourselves open to bad shots. Don't do it. So same setup, nice and wide, same release. This ball will come out a bit lower with a little bit more rollout. It does take a little bit of trust with this. Let's try another one for you. There we go. Look how much easier it was to fly that ball back there using a lower lofted club. Try your gap wedge, try your pitching wedge, see which one feels comfortable for you. Thank you so much for watching today's video. See you tomorrow at the same time